Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president again.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 20.
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8th electoral vote, in Indiana with its 11th electoral vote, West Virginia, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
What's up to the Snake Pit and the 199? Welcome to CobraCast. I am your host, D-Day Cobra, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, or just some average toxic individual on the internet. However you know me, we are here, we are live, and holy shit, as just about every day on CobraCast, we have a lot to talk about. But today seems, I don't know why, man, there's a lot going on. Maybe it's because I'm really focused on the entertainment world, but I'm also focused on the political world. And I feel like these two worlds are colliding in a very, very crazy way. It is 2024. It is election season. Everything is crazy. We've got Elon Musk drama. We've got Don Lemon involved. We've got Tim Pool versus Patrick Bet David, which is the weirdest shit ever. I did not see that one happening, but I'll have some opinions on that. We've got the TikTok bill that everybody's talking about. The fact is I don't even have Trump in the title tonight. That's how crazy of a day it is. I don't even have Trump in the title. But of course we're going to talk about Donald Trump. It's me. It's CobraCast. Of course we're going to talk about Donald Trump. Holy shit, though. Ben Shapiro apparently has pissed everybody off. I don't even know what's going on with that. So if there's like a video that maybe I can be directed to, I don't really know exactly what Ben Shapiro has done. I know everybody's been complaining about Ben Shapiro on the internet. That just shows how busy I've been with all the Gamergate 2 stuff going on. Trying to keep up with all this Don Lemon drama. Everything is just fucking crazy. It really is. So, Ben said Social Security should go away. So wait, so Ben wants to raise the age. He wants to raise the age of retirement. That's a very multi-millionaire, I sit on my ass all day and have no worries take right there. That's kind of what that sounds like. Jessica says, I didn't get a notification. Well, we just are getting started, so it's all good. I just had a video, by the way. Like, my ABC, I think it was ABC News video, like, completely has skyrocketed in the past, like, couple of days. I was not expecting that at all. And I looked at my D-Day Cobra channel, and I'm just like, where did all these new subs come from? And I looked, and yeah, it was this video right here. It's almost at 400,000 views. It's so right here. Share my screen, desktop, right here. This video, you see it chugging along right here. You know, it's just doing okay. It's doing okay. And then it was about 11 days in, it was at 93,000. 11 days in, it was at 93,000 views. And then it hit up for 100, 150, and then it just skyrockets in the last 2 days. And now it's like almost at 400,000 views. And I was like, what the heck is happening? So that was awesome to see. So I'm glad to see that. It definitely picked up in the algorithm. And that was obviously good for the channel. So thank you all. And so welcome to all the new subscribers here to D-Day Cobra. We appreciate you being here. It's awesome to see. And we have a wonderful chat here. We have the best chat on the internet. If you have not heard of us, you should, because we do have the single best chat on the internet. You will find that out tonight as the show goes on. Absolutely will. And you'll see. They're awesome. They are absolutely awesome. Raider Lalo says, let's see, who do you have at WrestleMania, Cody or Roman? Also, hail the 199. God bless the chat. I mean, I think Cody is going to win, but I don't know, man. They're doing a good job with storytelling in WWE right now, but I have to imagine Cody's going to win. I can't see Roman leaving WrestleMania with that belt. If Roman leaves WrestleMania with that belt, fans are going to have a fucking fit. All right, Roman Reigns sucks. I'm sick and tired of Roman Reigns being the champion. Let's Talk Games is here for 2. Says, hail the 199. Golden Nuggets in the house for 20. Says, hey, dude. Hey, chat. Been going down the rabbit hole where the fig is Princess Kate and her kids last seen Christmas. It's both funny, the memes, and a bit scary. The theories. Did Willis pull a Benoit? So... is this the Kate Middleton story? Is that what you're talking about, Golden Nuggets? Is that what you're talking about? Confirm that for me. Are you talking about it's Kate Middleton story or whatever? I don't know. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I absolutely have no knowledge of the royal family and all that bullshit. Like, I have no idea. I really don't understand any of that stuff. I don't know if I should care or not, but I don't know anything about the royal family. Like, I know nothing about it. And it Golden Nugget says it's crazy. I see a lot of people talking about it now. Should I look into this and make a video on it? Like, I don't know. I don't know any of this shit. So, but if it's I don't know. Wait, she's disappeared? It's me says she's disappeared. Kate Middleton has disappeared? Isn't Kate... Wait, I don't understand this fucking stuff. Okay, so Kate... Is it Prince William? She's married to Prince William, right? So she's the princess. Right? And then Prince William's supposed to become king, I think, when the ugly guy dies or whatever. I don't fucking...
When Charles dies.
Yeah, there you go.
William will step in.
Okay, all right. So when Charles dies, okay. I feel like when Stephen A. Smith talks about like geek culture stuff, that's how I feel. Chat is fucking going crazy over this royal shit. You know who I was supposed to have on that knows about this stuff? We were supposed to have George the Giant Slayer on tonight, and he could have talked about this. I know nothing about this world, dude. I know nothing about it. But I'll damn sure make some videos on it if the people want it. We shall see. Robert Bro Kerr says, let's talk games. I love refrigerators. Spirian with the 5. Thank you, Spirian. Bilbo T. Baggins says, hail, Jeremy. Let's see. What's your take on the Brenda Herrera thing? He has a real shot at winning his campaign, Trump 2024. Yeah, a lot of people want me to talk to him, and I'm open to that. I'm open to talking with him. So, yeah, that might happen. That might happen, down the road. We shall see. Okay, we have a lot to talk about, like a lot to get into, all right? Jordan is a ninja, says, Rumble is cool. I can call Jeremy a fig for half the price. Booty125 says, please watch the 1-minute vid John Rich just reposted. Funniest thing I've ever seen. All right, I'll see if I can check that out. Vault95 says, Rippa showing Marvel and DC just how black he is from the waist down. Jordan is a ninja, says, Jeremy is gay over there on Rumble. Yes, congratulations to Rippa. On all the success from Rippaverse, Yaira, all of that. It's just insane. It's insane, man. It really is. What else is insane is, okay, there is so many fucking stories to go over, all right? And I want you guys to understand that, like, I cover the world of entertainment, all right? I cover the world of entertainment over on Geeks and Gamers. Those worlds are about to collide more than they've ever collided, okay? You have to understand that. These worlds are about to collide more than anyone realizes. This is an article from 2017, okay? Article from 2017. Gamergate to Trump. How video game culture blew everything up. What began as a backlash to a debate about how video games portray women led to an internet culture that ultimately helped sweep Donald Trump into the White House. Okay. That's not true, but that makes Trump seem like the coolest guy ever, by the way, and it makes gamers seem like the coolest people of all time, all right? But that's not really what happened with Gamergate at all. That's not what happened. But we're heading into Gamergate 2, and it is getting wild. It is getting insane. And I've got a video that I'm uploading on Geeks and Gamers a little bit later tonight. And it's talking about, so there's this article that IGN posted, okay? IGN is the biggest gaming website, okay? And they posted this article, but they shut down the replies, okay? And it's about remaking Resident Evil 5. They shut down the replies, so you can't respond, and they're getting ratioed to hell. Here's the article right here. Set in a fictional West African country, Resident Evil 5's primary antagonists are black people. They basically are upset because in the end here it says in the 2020s, in a post Black Lives Matter world, there is only one acceptable response to white men shooting waves of Africans for an entire video game. No. So you can't have representation in video games, apparently. This is so dumb, dude. I swear, it's amazing. All right, so this is really what it comes down to right here. Okay, the SJW meme. This sums it up right here. That's racist. Why is the black guy the villain? Okay, well then you switch it. That's racist. Why is the black guy the one that has to get shot? Okay, well then we'll just put black people in it, all black people. Well, that's racist. Why are black people killing each other? Okay, well then we just won't put black people in at all. Well, that's racist. Where are the black people? That symbolizes everything that's going on right now. This is the greatest meme that has ever been made right there. All right, it's a perfect fucking meme. And it symbolizes everything going on. And all of this political stuff surrounding Donald Trump, the Gamergate 2 thing is going to be centered around the election of 2024. It absolutely is. That is going to happen, all right? And everybody just needs to understand that. That's one of the elements. I'm not saying that's the single thing that they're going to do, but that is one of the elements is they are going to center Gamergate 2 around the re-election of Donald J. Trump. They're 1,000% going to do that. This shit is getting out of hand. It's getting wild. You've got the Department of Homeland Security getting involved now. targeting gamers and things like that. Like, the shit's about to go crazy as hell. Jessica Lindstrom says 200% accuracy, just like ABF. Absolutely. So I just kind of wanted to prep you guys about that. Like, we're going to be talking more about a lot of that stuff over, on Geeks and Gamers for sure. Shit is out of control. All right. The first real topic of the night in terms of this show that I want to discuss, I gotta talk about what's going on with Patrick Bet-David and Tim Pool. This is a wild story. Okay. And I didn't really see Tim Pool and Patrick Bet-David having a fight today. And I guess a fight, I might be blowing that a little out of proportion, okay, a fight. But there's definitely a back and forth between Tim Pool and Patrick Bet-David. And it's all because Patrick Bet-David made a very, very, very strange decision today. And it caught a lot of people off guard. And I do understand. I understand why it's caught so many people off guard, because it's truly a strange story. Let me pull up Patrick Bet-David really quick. Patrick Bet-David. Okay, so this is a weird story, and I was not ready for this one, okay? But it all started right here. This is a Valuetainment. Valuetainment has hired Chris Cuomo to be part of their home team streams now. And it says it, Valuetainment is excited to announce that veteran news anchor Chris Cuomo will be joining our media team as a talent partner. He will become a rotating guest on the Patrick Bet-David podcast home team, bringing 2 decades of experience and his unique perspective to the table. Okay. Look, that's a bad fucking call. Let's just call it like it is. Awful call. Terrible, terrible call in every way, shape, or form. Absolute terrible. I really like Patrick Bet-David a lot. I'm a huge fan of Patrick Bet-David. I do not like this decision. I respect the dude, and I still support the dude for sure. But from what I understand, when he had Chris Cuomo on his podcast a few months ago, again, I didn't watch it, but I heard a lot of people said that he gave him a lot of softballs. That he really was like just really kind of nice to Chris Cuomo when he had him on a few weeks ago. So that was part of it, okay? Now, Tim Pool says, holy fuck up, or huge fuck up. Chris Cuomo faked being in COVID lockdown. That is true. His brother is a murderer. Holy shit, Tim. No redemption arc. Patrick Bet-David goes CNN. Very disappointing. Okay. I mean, look, I don't disagree. All right. I don't disagree. But this take specifically from Tim Pool was a little interesting, because I'm like, I kind of feel like Patrick Bet-David has become a competitor to Tim Pool. I do believe that he's become a competitor to Tim Pool. So I responded to this tweet, and I said, Tim Pool calling Patrick Bet-David CNN because of a panelist. Interesting. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you can't call him out. I'm just saying it's interesting. Okay, Tim, I was just saying it was interesting that you were calling someone else out for having a certain panelist on your show. It's just interesting. Now, am I saying Jack Murphy is the same as Chris Cuomo? No, not at all. Not at all. My point being is that if you're going to call Patrick Bet-David CNN, what are you when you shut down your chat for criticizing you because of this guy? That's the point. It's not about having Jack Murphy on. It's the fact that you silenced your audience because they wanted answers for Jack Murphy. That is the problem. Not that you had Jack Murphy on, not that people don't like Jack Murphy. It's the fact that you silenced your audience when they wanted answers for Jack Murphy and Eliza Blue. That's the point of my post. That's the point. Not that he had Jack Murphy on, not that he should always have to be responsible for having Jack Murphy. It's the fact that he's never given a proper response to his massive audience for Jack Murphy. And when they demanded it, when they wanted information, when they wanted an explanation, you silenced them. That is the CNN behavior right there. That's the problem. No, they're not the same, and it's not even close. Because generally speaking, I agree with everything Tim says. I agree with everything Tim is saying right here. I don't disagree with him at all. I think it's a terrible decision for Patrick Bet-David. I think it's a horrible decision. I do not think it's good for his brand. I don't think it's good for his company. I don't think it's good for his show. I think that this will be a massive, massive backfire. Massive backfire. And so time will tell. Time will tell. So I wanted to give a little more clarification on my point about bringing Jack Murphy into it. It's not that having Jack Murphy on is the same as Cuomo. It's not. It's not even remotely close. My point was, if you're going to call PBD CNN, what are you? Because you silenced your audience because they wanted answers. That's all. That's all. But, and this kind of goes into, there's the segue here, okay? There's the segue of Patrick Bet-David. You're trying to, I guess, build bridges and work with people across the aisle, specifically a former disgraced CNN personality, because you think, hey, we need to bring diverse voices into the fold. We need to have a different opinion because that's important. That's what we do. Well, there's a guy named Elon Musk that had the same exact opinion about a former CNN host. And look what happened there. Well, we're going to break the whole thing down right here. Here we go. Elon Musk cancels the Don Lemon show on X before the first episode airs. Former CNN host Don Lemon announced on Wednesday that Elon Musk had abruptly canceled the partnership between X and the Don Lemon show mere hours after sitting for an interview for its unaired premiere episode. Lemon, who was fired from CNN over painfully low ratings and problematic off-screen behavior, is now accusing Musk of suppressing free speech, while sources report that Musk found Lemon underwhelming, unprepared, and dull. After 17 years with CNN, Lemon was put on indefinite hiatus by the network over comments about 51-year-old South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and other women her age being past their prime. I mean, you know, hey, go for it, Don. Additional complaints about his treatment of network staff and other hosts ultimately led to him being fired. And then in early January, Lemon announced that he was back bigger, bolder, and freer with a new media company and an exclusivity deal with X, the biggest space for free speech in the world. X also celebrated the partnership, welcoming Lemon's unique and honest voice to the platform's diverse lineup of content creators. This sentiment was shared by alternative media figures across the political spectrum, including Tucker Carlson and other conservative commentators. The inaugural episode of the newly minted Don Lemon show, scheduled for March 18th, was set to feature a wide-ranging discussion with Elon Musk, covering everything from SpaceX to the presidential election, as well as Musk's use of, something for depression. And it's his first guest, Elon Musk, like you've never seen him before. This was a tweet from Don Lemon. But while Lemon left the interview confident in how things had gone, Musk was reportedly less than impressed. Elon has canceled the partnership I had with X, which they announced as part of their public commitment to amplifying more diverse voices on the platform. He informed me that his decision hours after an interview I conducted with him on Friday. Lemon wrote in a statement shared across his social media pages. I took Elon and his management team's word that they, for the first time, were interested in working directly with new and diverse voices. Diversity! We had a good conversation, clearly he felt differently. He continued his commitment to a global town square where all questions can be asked and all ideas can be shared seems to not include questions of him from people like me. Lemon also addressed the canceled partnership with a video in which he declared that Elon Musk is mad at me and directed his followers back to his statement about what happened between him, me, and the interview that he is apparently so upset about. Let's listen to Don Lemon.
Hi, everyone. Elon Musk is mad at me. And I just put out a statement about what happened between him, me, and the interview that he is apparently so upset about. But make no mistake about this. This is going to be my first episode of the Don Lemon Show this coming Monday, March 18th, so make sure you tune in. This does not change anything about the show except for my relationship with Elon and X. And there's a whole lot that went down, and I'm going to tell you about in the coming days. I know, though, that many of you were not happy that I was doing this in the first place, and you told me so. I just want you to know that I did this deal because not only do I believe in free speech, but I believed that this was the best possible chance for the work that I'm doing to reach the largest amount of people. So speaking of free speech, right, I thought the first person interview, no brainer, Elon Musk, the man who calls himself a free speech absolutist. I asked him to do it. He willingly agreed to the interview. Throughout our conversation, I kept reiterating to him that although it was tense at times, I thought it was good for people to see and hear our exchange and that they would learn from our conversation, learn more about him, learn more about me. But apparently, free speech absolutism doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me. What did we talk about? Why is he so upset? Does he even have a reason to be upset? Make sure you watch it on Monday on YouTube and everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can decide for yourself. You can even watch it on X because I'm still going to post it there, and I'm sure others will as well.
You're still going to post it to X? Well, would that mean Elon is supporting you by still allowing you to post it on X? But look, it gets better, okay? It gets much better because now we've got some snippets of an interview with Elon or with Don Lemon. So apparently Don Lemon went on to CNN, okay? Don Lemon speaks out after Elon Musk cancels deal, okay? Dude, this is pretty bad, okay? So let's listen. There's a couple of clips, all right? It gets really, really bad.
I think this is important for people to hear, especially considering how the type of discourse that we're having in the country right now. And he supposedly says this is a public square for all. Maybe we're learning that a public square should not be privately owned by someone who doesn't think that there should be any moderation on that platform. So it was interesting because at the end, I think this is important.
So he thinks that the public square should have censorship. Wait, what? What are you talking about, Don Lemon? And the fact that he appears immediately on CNN. He appears immediately on CNN right after this happens. Insane. But wait, there's more. Oh, there's plenty more. Trust me. I got to find it really quick. I had it bookmarked. This dude is out of his mind, okay? Like, this is next level shit. I mean, this is crazy. All right, here we go. Right here. Is this the clip? Okay, right here. Watch this. Watch this one. Again, I'm just saying, because this is ALX is the original poster of this tweet right here. Let's click on ALX's tweet, okay? So right here, okay. If this is apparently what he said to Elon, okay? This is fucking incredible. This is insane. Here we go.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats? I don't have to answer these questions. The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble, or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
Illuminating in so
just
many
wait
ways,
now.
Right? I have two things.
Now watch what Don Lemon says, and look how proud of himself he is. Okay, watch what Don Lemon says right here to CNN. Insanity, dude. Like, these people are deranged. And again, I believe this is what is going to happen with Patrick Bet-David and Chris Cuomo. All right. I think that's what's going to happen. There are certain fucking people that you just cannot build bridges with, have a relationship with, have a conversation with. Leftist psychopaths, there is no redemption arc for some of these fucking freaks. And Don Lemon is one of them.
I want to ask you about that, Don. First, the great replacement theory. Right. As you bring it up, he has tweeted a tweet he shared. Increasing illegals boost Dem voting power, causing them to recruit more. Mm-hmm. If Dems win President, House, and Senate, they'll grant citizenship to all illegals, and America will become a permanent one-party deep socialist state. Yeah. Right? He has gone there directly. How much does he stand by these ideas?
Well, he didn't quite seem to understand that he did, originally he did that with Jewish people, sort of a great replacement theory thing that he did with Jewish people, and he got in trouble when he had to go to Auschwitz and answer questions and apologize and go with Ben Shapiro. But he doesn't understand that sort of rhetoric that he talks about, the great replacement theory and migrant invasion, that's what radicalized shooters use in their manifestos, those exact words. The people who go and shoot up people, whether they be Latino people who live in Texas or black people who are in a supermarket in Buffalo or Jewish people who are worshiping, those people use the same rhetoric, that they are tropes, that they're either racist for Latinos or black people or for Jewish people. And I wanted to know if he felt any responsibility as someone who has one of the largest social media and information platforms in the world.
250 million people.
250 million people. I think it's 455 or 500 million users a week. And it doesn't seem that he feels that he has any responsibility with that, because he seemed really averse to facts. That facts did not matter to him. It didn't matter that he retweeted things that were offensive to people. And this the whole idea of what I was asking him about, was it offensive, and did he feel that his platform should have better moderation?
This was all, I think this was all part, like they had something planned to try to go after Elon and put him through this. And Elon's response, and I got to find it really quick. Elon's response right here. Here we go. His approach was basically just CNN, but on social media, which doesn't work, as evidenced by the fact that CNN is dying. And instead of being the real Don Lemon, it was really just Jeff Zucker talking through Don, so it lacked authenticity. All this said, Lemon, Zucker are, of course, welcome to build their viewership on this platform along with everyone else. He's 1,000% right. This was just more CNN bullshit. This was just more CNN propaganda. That's all this was. And again, you got to give him credit. He reached across the aisle. He's willing to give, Don Lemon a platform and give him an interview. But it's clear that Elon picked up on what was going on as soon as the interview started. Again, I haven't seen the whole interview. We will see it, when is it? March, so in 5 days. We'll see it in 5 days. And then we'll be able to, and that will be the most attention Don Lemon's ever going to have. Like, this will be the most eyeballs that will ever be on Don Lemon with his interview with Elon Musk, and then he will completely be irrelevant again, 1,000%. That's it. So, what a trash human being, man. Like, what an awful person. What an awful, awful person. But it's not a surprise. If you've been paying attention to Don Lemon for all of this time, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise at all. These are terrible fucking people. And I think that Chris Cuomo is going to be the exact same situation with Patrick Bet-David at Valuetainment. I think it's going to be the exact same situation. And we will probably see that blow up, in his face. I thought this was a funny one right here. Alex Stein, Primetime 99 says, LOL, Don Lemon got fired by Elon Musk on his first day working for Twitter. On the first day, Don Lemon, like the first day, bro. Come on. Like, very first day, buddy. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. It really is. But Elon Musk today Elon Musk dropped a pretty interesting hint today. And I'm sure a lot of you have watched Benny Johnson's video on this. Elon Musk basically endorsed Donald Trump today. That's essentially what he did in a very kind of like indirect way, but actually kind of direct. Elon Musk fully endorsed Donald Trump today. And he did it with this tweet right here. He says nothing. He says absolutely nothing. All right. He just uploads this video and lets the video speak for itself. And here's the video right here.
Well, I would vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden, just because I think with Biden, like he's gone. Like, you know, he's gone. You're going to be relying on his cabinet, and I knew his cabinet would be this fucking sideshow of diversity, and which is exactly what it is. You can't.
And that's Elon. Just instead of Elon typing it out, he just says this. He just says point blank, this is it right here. And I'm glad he did it this way.
Have those kind of people running a Ben and Jerry's. You certainly can't have those kind of people running the fucking most powerful government the world's ever known.
So that was a very kind of direct yet indirect way for him to, boom, I'm supporting Trump. And we know he was supporting Trump. We know. I know him and Trump have differences, but it's clear that they are trying to put their differences aside, which I'm very happy about, because they need to for the future of not only this country, but this freaking world. Josh Johnson dropped 20 gifted memberships. Let's go. Thank you, Josh Johnson. Look at those memberships flying. Munchie Ninja says, Cuomo on Patrick Bet David is such an L. Someone that believes that you need an ID to enter a nightclub, but not to vote is a tard. Absolutely. And to give further context to that, Patrick Bet David did respond to Tim Pool, and he said this: Tim, I trust capitalism. One of these days, the market will wake up and realize what our wisdom or what our vision was all along. I'm extremely comfortable being misunderstood before the market validates our vision. I respect your impatience with our vision. In the meantime, keep kicking ass. I don't. All right, so I'm going to try to, okay. I am a bigger fan of Patrick Bet David than Tim Pool. With that said, I'm 1,000% on Tim Pool's side in this whole thing. I'm 1,000% on Tim Pool's side. Tim Pool is right, and I think time will prove Tim Pool right. So regardless of my personal stances on these two individuals, and I big time prefer Patrick Bet David over Tim Pool is 1,000,000% right. 1,000,000% right. No doubt about it. Call up Patrick Bet David. I don't know Patrick Bet David. He doesn't know me. But Tim is right. Tim is right. Tim said, holy, or huge fuck up. Chris Cuomo faked being in COVID lockdown. His brother is a murderer. No redemption arc. PBD goes CNN is very disappointing. So, I think like it's, see, Patrick's whole take here is 100%. Again, I'm not hating on a man for focusing on money. Okay. Business people have to focus on money. I get that. No problem here. Understood. That's not Tim's point, though. Like, Tim is telling you, like, this has nothing to do with money or vision. This has to do with morals and character. And Chris Cuomo is a terrible fucking human being, no matter how much money you're making. Like, this ain't like something, this is not a mistake that happened, 15 years ago. This shit happened recently. He faked the COVID lockdown. He assaulted a man. Didn't he assault a man for during the pandemic? Wasn't he outside and he punched somebody when he was lying to the whole fucking country because for lockdowns? Didn't that happen? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah, on the bike. That's right. So, yeah, I think, like, look, man, I don't care. I don't care what people do with their own private life. I don't care what you do with your private time. I don't care what you spend your money on. I don't care about any of that. That's never been my game, and it's never going to be. I don't care what people do. Chris Cuomo actively lied to the American people, just like Don Lemon did. Actively lied and hurt people. He literally hurt people's lives with his lies, and he faked the COVID lockdown situation. He's a terrible fucking person. He really is. And yeah, so I do like Patrick Bet-David. I like Valuetainment. I do not I just can't support Chris Cuomo in any way, shape, or form. Can't do it. So there you go. So that's the latest on that whole take. What a crazy story that is, man. Really is a crazy story. I did not think those two guys were going to be fighting today. Open up my Twitter timeline and I got Patrick Bet-David and Tim Pool. I'm like, wow, okay. Well, there you go then. So yeah, here Quartering just tweeted out, LOL, now I see why Elon Musk fired Don Lemon. He was employing the same dishonest tactics Elon has long railed against. Why would he pay the man's salary? Yeah, I mean, Elon's 1,000% right in this situation. And again, my prediction, Chris Cuomo and Patrick Bet-David is going to end the same way. Now, my question would be, will Patrick Bet-David apologize to Tim Pool when Chris Cuomo does the same thing that Don Lemon did to Elon Musk? We'll see. We'll see, because he would at that point, because you're basically like the way that Patrick Bet-David is talking to Tim Pool in that tweet. And these guys know each other, okay? These guys know each other. This is a very passive aggressive, like, I'm smarter than you and I know more than you. That's what this is. Like, now again, Tim did take the first jab. 100%, okay? Fair is fair. And of course, my response here, I was like, Tim Pool calling Patrick Bet-David CNN because of a panelist? Interesting. I'm memeing. I stand by it. But what he's saying, like, challenge what he's saying right there, Patrick. And he just seems to be like kind of talking down to him. You know what I mean? Kind of talking down to him. But hey, it's neither here nor there. It is what it is. We will see how that all plays out, but it was very interesting to say the least. Now, I do have a brand new favorite Twitter account, all right? I have a brand new favorite Twitter account, all right? This is one of the greatest Twitter accounts of all time, all right? This guy right here. Every fucking tweet, he gets community noted, all right? This guy gets community noted on every tweet. It's pure entertainment. All right, watch.
Good morning, haters. I'm in my Lamborghini heading back from my Malibu surf session.
There is no way that's a Lambo. There's no, it looks like a fucking minivan.
Good morning, haters. I'm in my Lamborghini heading back from my Malibu surf session to my Bel Air mansion that the haters will say ain't real. Anyways, I got a lot to catch you up on, but for now, stay away from those haters and choose rich.
The vehicle in the video is not a Lamborghini, as all Nick is claiming. Based on the reflection of the glasses at various parts of the video, it looks to be a 2021 Mazda CX-5. Every tweet this guy has is he's getting completely annihilated by community notes. All right, look. Shortly after this video was posted, a helicopter owned by Charm Aviation, a tour operation in which the same model and color as the one Nick claimed was his, took off for a 20-minute round trip. So scoping out the haters from my helicopter. Right here. Good morning. Good morning, haters from my helipad.
Good morning, haters. I'm about to hop on my helicopter to board my private jet for a meeting in Los Angeles. Next thing y'all gonna tell me is I don't own my helicopter and that the pilot ain't my full-time employee, Sergio. Choose rich.
Nick is claiming that this is his helipad. However, a quick look around Google Maps shows that it's owned and operated by Manhattan Helicopters. Every tweet is just getting crushed by community notes. It's so funny. Good morning to all my haters from my private movie theater.
So y'all trying to say that my chauffeur is an Uber driver? Y'all keep hating while I kick off my week screening Scarface from my private movie theater in my New York City pied-à-terre. Remember, choose rich.
So yeah, man. He was mad about I think Dave Portnoy had him on the other day, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right about that? Did Dave have him on? Dave tweets a lot. Dave tweets like a 12-year-old girl, apparently. Yeah, right here.
Like with bonk. If you want to get into meme coins, it would be like with bonk.
I got fucked so hard with meme coins. I don't fuck with it. Well, I was well, I don't even know that they're meme coins, but you know, the ones that I don't know, I was a Link soldier at one point, got murdered.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was an early soldier on that.
So I think the guy's hilarious. I still I'll sit here to this point and tell you, I don't like community notes. I think community notes have been completely weaponized. I understand that they can have a strong value and they can help in a lot of situations, but it just feels like that guy should not be getting targeted. That guy's just having fun on social media. He's not hurting anybody by saying that he's got a fucking Lamborghini. He's not hurting anybody. He shouldn't be getting community noted. Community noted should be when there are outright lies that are hurting the public. You know what I mean? Like that, to me, that is not free speech. The dude is having fun, you know? And like, you're ruining the fucking joke with every community note. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But we do have an interesting tweet that happened today. All right. Now, let's check this out. Speaking of community notes. All right. So this is Libs of TikTok. All right. And this is a tweet. And it says, this normally quiet, peaceful neighborhood in Florida was shaken this week when 3 illegals from Guatemala were arrested for forcing a woman into a car and sexually assaulting her. Apparently, Florida also gives illegals driver's license. Biden's open borders allows violent criminals to terrorize Americans. It got community noted. This is a good community note, okay? This is a good community note, all right? So it says Florida does not issue driver's license to illegals. Florida also no longer recognizes driver's license from other states, which knowingly issue them to illegal migrants. Okay? Now, okay, that's fair. Guess who responded to the tweet? DeSantis responded to the tweet. Now, I was told that Ron DeSantis was a respectable person and would never just rant on Twitter about things like Donald Trump. I was told Ron DeSantis was above being mean tweets and all of that. Well, apparently not. And not only from his Ron DeSantis, it's from his government Ron DeSantis. It says Libs of TikTok got community noted for lying about Florida law, which not only prohibits illegal aliens from getting driver's license, but also prohibits recognition of license issued to illegal aliens from other states. Truth shouldn't be a casualty of attempts to generate clicks and engagement farm. I mean, I think that's a little bitch made. I'm not the biggest fan of Libs of TikTok in terms of like, I don't think that she's as like dedicated to the cause as she acts, which is totally fine. I appreciate she's overall a net positive. So I want to be clear about that. She's an overall net positive. Okay. 100% overall net positive, but I have some issues with her. She did respond. Last thing I ever thought I'd be doing on a Wednesday afternoon is defending myself against Ron DeSantis. I made a sarcastic comment about Florida apparently allowing illegals to get driver's license because of a woke state attorney literally told an illegal to get a license. I clarified twice in the subsequent post that Florida law doesn't allow illegals to get license and demanded accountability from the state attorney who was trying to subvert Florida law. These corrections were made hours before DeSantis attacked me. Attacked. He didn't attack you. He responded to you. Hours before the community note was published. Now the governor, who I've only ever congratulated for his wins and have never attacked, is publicly attacking me, calling me a liar and a grifter. Just wow. I understand DeSantis wanting to correct the record, and this post could have been a correction, championing Florida's incredible track record on illegal immigration instead of it turned into a personal attack. It's not a personal attack. For the record, I think DeSantis is a good governor. I've publicly said this, and I stand by it. This personal attack from him is disappointing. This is like leftist fucking bullshit right here. Like, this is like leftist bullshit. Is Rippa in the chat? What up? Young Rippa in the chat. What up, man? And again, I was congratulating you earlier on Yaira, and great success, man. Appreciate you. Proud of you, man. But yeah, this is not a personal attack. It's just not. That's leftist. What about this is personal? What about this is personal? He tagged libs of TikTok. He didn't tag whatever her name is. All right. And he says they got community noted for lying about Florida law. That's true. Which not only prohibits illegal aliens from getting driver's license, but also prohibits recognition of license issued to illegal aliens from other states. And then he says truth shouldn't be a casualty of attempts to generate clicks in engagement farm. Was that a little like unnecessary? 1000%. It's not a fucking attack. But it is interesting that, again, I was told that mean tweets were something that Ron DeSantis was very much above, and he would never do anything like this. But now, you know, the hero, Ronnie DeSantis, putting some mean tweets out there. You gots to love it. Sean Puffy says, Jeremy, did you see the tweet by ALX saying it's time for Trump to return to X? And Elon says, yes. Yes, I did. Benny Johnson's got a really good video on the whole thing. He's actually broke some of the timeline down. I might pull that up here in just a little while. But yeah, it's really good. It's a really good breakdown for sure. We have almost 300 people over on Rumble, and we have nearly 3,000 here on YouTube. Smash the melee button if you don't mind. That is a simple request from a simple man. Zevin Cross says Elon says nothing. Moonwalks out of the saloon. Yeah, if Elon was to come in here and drop a $500 super chat, I'd be okay with that. Replicate Patriot with 5 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. All right, I got another, let's see, where is it at? There was another video that I had to show you guys, because again, today has been a wild day. We are not out of things to talk about. And it just keeps getting wilder and wilder. Like the day just, every time I turn around, there was something insane going on. There was something stupid going on. A lot of the stuff that I've been following, obviously I've been following a lot of the entertainment stuff. I got to show you guys this because it's just freaking funny. I meant to cover this on Tuesday night's main event. There's just so much going on, man. There's so much going on. I just want to meme on this really quick, okay? I know a lot of you are not going to care about this, okay? I know a lot of you are not going to care about this, and then we're going to talk about the TikTok ban. But this is so funny. Minecraft. Minecraft is a video game. It's a massive video game. And basically in Minecraft, you have got all of these children that were like 15 or 16 years old, and then they became multimillionaires over the last 10 years and have never had to work for anything. And now there's a massive controversy in the Minecraft community, and people are melting down. And I just want to meme on this really quick because this happened, okay? This happened.
My friends or anybody else as a scapegoat for your fucking sexual abuse is disgusting. It's fucking disgusting, okay? my friend cried in my fucking arms about this, and you're on stream denying it all, denying the fucking hurt that you caused to her. You are disgusting fucking people. You and all of your abuse sympathizer friends, you are all fucking horrible. Seriously, you are so wrong for trying to displace this fucking sexual assault onto anyone but yourselves. You are a 26-year-old man, 27 now, trying to fucking put the blame on 18-year-olds that you don't fucking know. What the fuck is wrong?
Wait, man. I just had to show it for the LOLs, okay? Because we're not going to go into that story. That is a rabbit hole I do not want to go down, all right? It's wild. Minecraft is crazy, okay? It's a psychopathic fan base, and I say that with like, I obviously love video games, I love gamers, but bro, the Minecraft stuff is so wild. And I just had to show that meltdown. That's a Leave Britney Alone rant, though. That's exactly what that is. That is a Leave Britney Alone rant. And it is glorious. It's absolutely glorious. Okay, so let's talk about this TikTok ban bill. Now, there was a clip from Tim Pool's show that I wanted to listen to that I think kind of breaks it down, okay? And the Post Millennial put this out. And it says, Timcast on the TikTok bill. The crazy thing is the bill is not even that authoritarian. It allows TikTok to just sell off its Chinese stake and then can keep operating like normal. It's actually kind of weak. Now, that's an interesting take. That's an interesting take because my whole take on the thing has been, I don't think the government cares about anything that pertains to the good of the people. I don't, and I'll never believe that. I believe that the government is doing things that is going to benefit the government, and they don't care about the people. All right? Now, let's listen to this clip, and then we'll talk a little more about it.
Let's start with this question. Should a foreign country have the right to dictate to 170 million people in this country? Now, how many are actually active young people on the platform? But to millions of people in this country, what is culturally relevant? Absolutely Should the United States allow the Communist Party of China to set the standard for content in the United States for its young generation?
So here's my thing. All right, I don't spend much time on TikTok. What I have though, I've been on TikTok a bit, and the algorithm basically feeds me my experience is just like YouTube. Like once I click on it, search out a couple things and I watch a couple of things, it starts feeding me things that are similar to that. All right? That's what I've noticed from that perspective. We will continue. I just wanted to say from my perspective, it's been just like the YouTube algorithm. Because I talked about this the other day. What was it? Oh yeah, like I was on YouTube and I searched out a Mr. Medicare video, and then like everything in my recommendations was more Mr. Medicare stuff. And of course, Mr. Medicare is a legend, so I kept watching more Mr. Medicare stuff, and that just kind of kept feeding me more. And that's just how the YouTube algorithm works. And so now I'm just been binging Mr. Medicare stuff.
Guys, to all of these people who are saying like this bill is bad, I wonder how many of these exact same people have spammed the Yuri Bezmenov video about communists trying to infiltrate the country to infect the minds of our youth. And then we see on TikTok, what do you get? Dylan Mulvaney, the easiest example, because so many people are so concerned about how this unwell individual generates 10 million plus followers. They're intentionally jamming this stuff in the face of our young people to cause them self-harm. Now, what happens? Donald Trump says, we got to shut this down. It's one of the most egregious censors. It is one of the most woke, notorious woke applications. And Trump says, let's stop this because they're tipping the scales against us.
Did Trump actually say that, though? Is that accurate? Now, I know Trump wanted to ban TikTok, but wasn't it for like government devices? Trump wasn't trying to ban TikTok outright, was he? Again, I'm going to lean on the chat to tell me. It was more like it was for like the government side of things, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Yes, for government devices only, says Loki. Now this is when he was president, okay? This is when he was president. Now, he has since, Trump, just as a few days ago, Trump and both Elon Musk they both agree that this bill should not be passed, I believe. I know Trump was, but again, you got to think about it from Trump's perspective, is he's talking about this after what happened in 2020. After what happened in 2020, he's bringing this up, and he says, like, TikTok should be banned because if so, Zuckerberg's going to have a monopoly. That was what he said, like, a few days ago.
Democrats don't care. They say, no, we won't do it. And for sure, what came out of that was not good. Then Israel-Palestine happens. And all of a sudden, you've got a bunch of politicians being like, wait. China is showing, I think it's 10 times more content of Palestine as the victims relative to Israel. I'm not going here to make an argument for either of these countries. Because of that, now you get members of Congress saying, okay, now we finally agree we want to make a move against this app. They cite data capture as an issue, and that is a serious issue because it allows, seriously, the Communist Party of China to determine who votes and who doesn't vote. If you thought it was bad that Mark Zuckerberg put $500 million into elections, that Mark Zuckerberg can send out, and Dr. Robert Epstein told.
See, here's the thing. I'm going to try to dance around this issue the best I can. Biden didn't win because of TikTok or Facebook. We know exactly why he won. All right? Why he won. And it's not because more people genuinely went out and voted for Joe Biden. I'm being careful about this. I know Facebook, the overlords of Facebook have deemed us where we can talk about this, but I feel like that's just January 6th of like, hey, walk in here to this guided tour, everybody. Come in here and talk about the election on our platform again. I'm still being very careful about that. But ultimately, TikTok didn't sway the election, and Facebook didn't sway the election. All right? I watched election night just like all of you watched election night, and Donald Trump was running away with it. And then something unprecedented in history happened that night. They stopped voting. They stopped counting. They stopped.
Told us 100 in their test jurisdiction, when they're tracking election manipulation, 100% of Democrats got a reminder to go vote, and only, I think he said 59% of Republicans got one. That is how you rig an election. That's bad. I think we should have legislation or something to stop Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, anybody, Rumble, from doing things like that. Why would we just be like, but it's okay that China does it? All I can say is, you baby steps, I guess.
It's like I don't disagree with the premise of what he's saying. I disagree to give the government the power to do what he wants them to do because it sets a precedent. That's my problem with it. It's not that I disagree with what Tim Pool is saying in theory. I don't disagree with what he's saying in theory. I disagree with it in reality because it gives politicians a precedent, and that's what I don't like. That's my problem with it. So that's why I always go back to the easiest way I can answer this. The easiest way I can answer this is to say parents should be parents. And if TikTok is having an impact on children to the level that it's having, that doesn't cure the problem by banning TikTok. You still have bad parents out there, and there's still bad influences out there in the world. Eliminating TikTok does not eliminate bad influence and bad things. You're still going to have bad parents that have children that are not being taught, and those children are going to find other places to go to get the information to continue to send them down the wrong path. You're never going to eliminate that. Just like you're never going to eliminate racism It's not like you could just, snap my fingers and end racism. Like, that's why it's so retarded when the NFL says, end racism. Shut the fuck up. It's such a stupid take. End racism? Okay. Why don't you tell the real racists out there to stop being racist? Oh, you don't want to do that. It's such a stupid take. So when you say, like, well, if we get rid of TikTok, kids are suddenly just going to have great parents and great lives and everything's going to be wonderful. Bad shit is still going to happen. Bad things are still going to happen, and bad parents are still going to exist. And so you could go down the fucking rabbit hole on YouTube and find fucked up stuff. And those kids, do you think all of a sudden all those kids are going to go and start watching alt-right videos on YouTube? No, they're going to find the fucked up shit like that's on YouTube, and the algorithm's going to feed them all that shit. That's what's going to happen. So it doesn't cure anything. It doesn't cure the problem. The problem is bad parenting, and TikTok being banned does not solve the problem. Bad parents are still out there. They're not paying attention to their fucking kids. They're not paying attention to what they're doing on their phone. They're not paying attention to who they're talking to. They're not paying attention to what they do on social media. And banning TikTok does not cure the fucking problem. It just doesn't. That is my take on it. And I'm not saying that there's a way to solve that problem either, but I'm at least addressing what the true problem is. And the true problem is bad parenting. And no banning of an app or banning of anything will solve the true problem. That's the way I look at it. So, but it is what it is. So we'll see what happens with this situation with TikTok. I don't know. I don't know what the end result is going to be with that. But it's a very highly debated topic right now. And a lot of people are very passionate about it, and a lot of people are very like, I've had people, oh my gosh, man, I've had these discussions on Geeks and Gamers a few times, and people are just downright like losing their minds. So it's like, you don't want TikTok banned, and I'm like, well, it's not that like, I'm not saying I like the app, I'm not saying but at the end of the day, we're talking about the problem, and the problem really has nothing to do with TikTok and everything to do with bad parenting. So I don't really know how that solves the problem that we're talking about, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Make government small again, says Isaac. Yeah, I mean, that ain't gonna happen though. Again, that's not something that will happen. And I mean, really, like I try to operate in reality and not fantasy with a lot of the things that need to be done and all of that. Like right now, like, what's the best thing what's the most realistic thing that can get everything back on track? Trump 2024. That's the most realistic thing right there. That's it. That's the most realistic thing. Let's see. I'm Dan Hibiki. I think that's how I say that. For $10 says, hail Jeremy, first time super chat, scanning in. I never catch you live, but you always make the work day easier. Keep up the good content for the best community on the internet. Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. I appreciate your first super chat ever to this channel. That is awesome. Glad you're enjoying what we do here. Love Dogs, let's see. Yeah, Love Dog says, this is a dangerous precedent. The bill is broad and encompassing. It does not limit the government from banning any company it disagrees with, not just TikTok. That is why Biden is foaming at the mouth to sign it. Again, agreed. I mean, right now, am I correct? I feel like Elon and Trump both say that they don't support the TikTok bill, if I'm not mistaken. I know Trump has, and I'm not sure if Elon has or not, but I agree with both of them. Al for 20 says, I agree with Tim that TikTok is incredibly dangerous. I agree with you that the bill is more dangerous. I'd bet money that the bill has fine print that will allow it to be used against X before the election. It's a trap. Yeah, I mean, again, man, I just don't have any like faith that the government is actually operating with our best interest in mind at any point in time. That's how I'm wired. And I don't think I'm ever going to believe otherwise. Lord Botha says, bill still gives more direct control of the economy to the state by setting the standard that the admin can say owners of the company is a foreign asset or enemy of the state, etc., and forced to sell. Well, yeah, like I guess there's like this, there's a small stake within the TikTok bill, and there's like, you got people like Kevin O'Leary is considering buying, that. You've got Rumble, which is offered to buy it, which I think would be an interesting move for sure. I would love if Rumble had, control of TikTok. I think that would be a fantastic thing. American Idiocracy says our own government is actively trying to turn us all into the obsolete man. Dr. Quagsire says, you heard of Stone Toss? He got doxxed recently. Stone Toss? I don't know who that is. Sorry to hear that, though. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that name. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's see where we're at. Ian, Let's Go Buck says this CobraCast will be vid 1K for this channel. Really? 1,000 videos for this channel. Wow, that's crazy. Gerald Armstrong says, Tim did a segment about this. He was super pissed. Wait, about what? Did he do a thing about Patrick Bet David? Is that what we're talking about? Dutchy says, I heard there was no contact between Don and X, so Elon doesn't have to pay out. Oh, contract, no contract. Interesting. Disco Cobra for 50 says, exactly, banning any of these apps solves zero problems. I use TikTok and plan to stream to it. Many people run businesses through it. It can be good, bad at the same time. All these apps are designed to keep you addicted. It's proven moderation parenting. Yeah, that's I just try to look for the most simplistic answer to the problem. And that doesn't mean that the solution is simple. But I just try to look for banning TikTok to me does nothing. Does absolutely nothing. It doesn't cure the problem, in my opinion. Cyril Lewis says, Vivek Trump flipped their opinion on this bill because they're funded by Jeff Yas, owner of $33 billion stake in ByteDance. Crowder called Vivek out this morning. Jamie, pull that up. Okay, I'll have to look into that. But I don't think, again, though, I don't know if Trump flipped on it. I really don't remember Trump wanting to ban TikTok outright. If I'm wrong, I'll gladly say I'm wrong, and I will gladly disagree with Trump on it. But I don't think, I feel like it was just a government situation where he wanted to ban it on government devices, I think. Ed Dan says, look what Patrick Bet David did for Adam. Adam is still a lip-tarded, but he sees some truths now. I think Patrick Bet David is trying to wake Cuomo up. Maybe, but I mean, doesn't he have like a real personal relationship with Adam or whatever? I don't know his relationship with Adam, but I don't see Chris Cuomo. I don't know, man. Look, Patrick Bet David is a smart guy, but I don't see any waking up Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is completely broken and gone. All right. I don't see any scenario where that's possible. Golden Nugget says, Cuomo, hello, fellow conservatives. Tiger King says, Patrick Bet David likes fights. His team is in too much agreement. He wants to see some arguments and find common ground. He likely lured Cuomo in with nice interviews. Now that I can see, I can see that. Look, man, like I have no problem. Like, I like strong personalities. I like to surround myself with strong personalities. I like to, I like debates. I like fighting. I like arguing. I like yelling. I just, I don't know, man. There's got to be at least, you never know what type of conversations that they had behind the scenes or what type of conversations they've had behind the scenes. So there's something to that. I mean, for instance, the late Uche Nwaneri, who was part of our Geeks and Gamers team. He was also a former NFL football player. And a lot of you remember Uche's horrendously bad takes on social media. I mean, his takes were so bad, some of them makes Chris Cuomo look less cringe, okay? And that's just being real, okay? Uche's takes were fucking bad. They were really bad. But I knew Uche. Like, he reached out to me, and he knew I was a Trump guy, and he was not a Trump guy. He knew I was a Trump guy when he reached out to me. Uche didn't need Geeks and Gamers. He was a multimillionaire. He played in the NFL. I drove to Atlanta. I met him. We had a great conversation. Yeah, we just bullshitted. We argued a lot, but like in a playful, respectful way. And of course, the more people saw Uche on social media, though, they were like, what the fuck has Jeremy done? Like, he has brought some left-wing activist into this. Uche's arguing with people. Uche's saying this dumb shit. Like, people were really bothered by Uche and his takes. And so I understood that. And a lot of people accused me of like, oh, Jeremy's selling out because he's a former NFL football player and all that. And it's like, it's okay. But so I get that. And so I kind of see where Patrick Bet David, the spot he's in, because you don't know what type of conversations they had privately. But we do know what Chris Cuomo has done. And he is not a good person at all. And that's what people are going to stick with, is what he's done publicly to the public while being a news anchor. And he was part of a time in history that we will never forget. We will never forget what happened with the pandemic and the lockdowns. And he is one of the symbols of the lies and the manipulation that the media played a part into. He is like at the top of what you think about with media manipulation that lied to this country. So, that's where the problem is. GMU alum says, Jeremy, the president can ban an app if the company that owns it is determined to be a foreign adversary. That is the first requirement that needs to be met. Just thought that I'll make that clarification. Yeah, I see that, and I think I'd heard that. Like, so that has to be part of it. But I look at this like they've already accused Donald Trump of being a foreign adversary by the Russia bullshit, which was a lie. So my whole thing is if that's in the bill, they're just going to paint the narrative that the next website that they want to take down, they're just going to paint the picture that it's a foreign adversary. That's what they'll do. So that specific language being in the bill means absolutely nothing, because they will paint the narrative that we need to take down Twitter because it's a foreign adversary because Elon Musk has been working with the Russians. Like, so that language to me means nothing. I appreciate the context, but the language means absolutely nothing, because if they're going to lie about President Trump being a Russian asset, Russia, and all that bullshit, like they'll lie about anything. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate the info. The Exalted Patriarch for 50 says TikTok is peak bigotry. Sadly, if TikTok goes belly up, there will be another dumb might child lobotomy chamber app running 10 minutes later. Hail fatherhood. That's the way I look at it. It doesn't cure the problem. And that's my perception on it. Celluloid Dream says, Jeremy, y'all are playing Battlefront with the community on what platform? I feel like Steam, I feel like PC might be the best option. I'll tell you what I'll do tomorrow. Yeah, I feel like PC, it's either going to be PC or PS4, but I feel like PC might be the best option. That's going to be the widest net, I believe, is PC. I don't know how many of you in the chat want to chime in right now, but it feels like PC is probably the best option. No, it doesn't have cross-platform, which is bullshit. I will buy it on both. So I'll have the ability to... I'm going to have it on PC and on PlayStation 5, but I'm just saying, like, we may try to play on PC the most because it feels like that's going to have the most, the widest net. It is bullshit that it's not cross-platform. It really pisses me off. Let's see. The Tactician Musician says, Vivek had a decent take, in my opinion, on Crowder's show. It was sort of a debate on the topic. Stephen arguing in favor of the ban. I agree with Vivek, though. Can somebody get that for me? I would like to I would like to hear it. If somebody can get that clip, Eric, send it to me, or let me see if I can type it up real quick. Vivek and Crowder. So that would have, well, is that going to be on YouTube? Let's see, because Crowder's got the Crowder bits, right? Crowder bits. Let's see if, yeah, here it is, right here.
One final question.
All right, hang on. TikTok debate. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Sweet. Let's check this out. Good call on that. Good call. Thank you. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Question. And Vivek, you know that we love you, appreciate you, of course. One thing I will say too, because you've talked about, and I agree on not only foreign adversary, but on the funding that comes from lobbyist groups. Yep. Everyone you just mentioned, including yourself, money from Jeff Yass, who owns a $33 billion stake in ByteDance. You're never going to get away from that question from your critics. Everyone you just named, it's a diverse coalition, except for one through
Everybody should ask the question, right?
Yeah. All right. Mr. Ramaswamy, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How you doing, man?
Good. Did you hear us for 5 minutes talking about your porcelain doll skin?
I heard the tail end of that.
I know you would have, Eric. It's all good, brother. Volume? Do you want me to bump up the volume some?
I was wondering what the heck is going on.
Well, we're all.
You said, would I be offended at it? I'm not offended.
No, we're all aging white guys with crow's feet. And when you left, we're like, does that guy have a wrinkle? We're like, I don't know if it's just.
The presidential thing didn't work out. You know, there's always the Mach 3 commercials that we can.
Yes, exactly. Maybe you get Mach 6.
So that made me feel good.
More razors. Yeah. Let's give it 6 razors. Okay. So Vivek, let me ask you this, because some people are.
I've got it up as loud as it can go. So I hope that I've got it turned up as loud as it can go on my end.
Characterizing this as flipping, meaning that you called it digital fentanyl. Said you were open to an outright ban, and now you're saying, don't pass the bill. The bill was just voted on, I'm sure you know, overwhelmingly.
Yeah, I just thought. Yeah.
Okay. So clarify what your position was there and where it is now, what your opposition is to this, please.
So first of all, TikTok has major problems. I have probably been, if you rewind even a few years, even before I was running for president, at the leading edge of pointing out a lot of the issues with addictive social media across the board, particularly with TikTok, and a position that I've adopted since the start of the campaign. I think I said this on day one, and I maintain today, is that I think there is a reasonable case to be made for addictive social media, algorithmically powered addictive social media, to be banned outright in kids under the age of 16. That would include TikTok. It would also include other platforms. But here's where I land. I prefer to, all else equal, when we have a choice, ban the bad behavior, not the individual actor or the individual company, because that sets a terrible precedent. So there's 3 major issues with TikTok as I see it, right? I'm not some sort of TikTok fan apologist. To the contrary, we got to see the problem with clear eyes. Problem number 1 is addictive tendencies in kids. Problem number 2 is forced data transfers, or the potential of forced data transfers to the Chinese Communist Party. And problem number 3 is the people who run that platform, which could be the CCP, engaging in system-wide persuasion control, effectively tilting the levers of what people do or don't see.
Sure.
Each of those are 3 separate problems. Here's my issue with this bill, is that this neither addresses those concerns, any of them, and I can explain why, while also massively expanding the authority of the federal government, particularly the executive branch, particularly President Biden right now, to be able to censor the speech of political opponents in ways that have nothing to do with TikTok. So the bill is both over-inclusive while also failing to do the thing that it supposedly is purporting to do. And the reason why is anytime you're in the business of creating a bill to go after one company, one actor, what our founding fathers referred to as bills of attainder, this is a constitutional prohibition anyway. I think there's a good chance this would get challenged in the courts and thrown out for this very reason. That's a formula for abuse. And so I can go into detail on each of those points.
Well, what you listed 3 points, right? I believe?
Yeah.
3 points. Number 2, I just want to make sure I have this right. Number 2 was that it is overly expansive. Do I have that right?
I would say, just to go clear, it doesn't matter what order we go in. 1 is the addictive tendencies in kids.
Yeah.
2 is forced data transfers to the CCP of U.S. user information.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3 is broad-scale persuasion, using the tool as a persuasive tool to...
Again, I don't disagree that, the forced algorithm and all of that for kids and all that, but I mean, are you gonna, so, okay, let's just ban all apps that have this algorithm that keeps kids on their platform. You gonna ban video games? I mean, is that what you're gonna do next? You're gonna ban video games? because that's what they're going to do. If you keep kids off of social media, then they're just going to play video games. Then you're going to be like, well, you can't play video games. Like, that's a fucking better parenting. That simple.
Ideologically shift the U.S. dialogue or discourse in a way that might favor a foreign adversary rather than the United States.
So
those are three independent concerns, which I think are serious.
Yes, no, and I
but
agree
we got
with
to
you.
deal with them.
But here's the thing: this bill does address number 2 and 3. It doesn't address the addictive tendencies. It does address 2 and 3, and especially people like I do think. And here's the thing: sitting around with Section 230 and having been banned, demonetized on YouTube, banned from TikTok for literally making fun of Xi Jinping. That's why we were banned from TikTok repeatedly. This is addressed in a way that says, okay, look.
I didn't know that, but that's interesting.
Yeah. No, exactly. We did a trash TikTok, but it was just trashing the CCP. And we made very clear to say we're not trashing the Chinese people, but the CCP. I mean, a lot completely untoward jokes toward Xi Jinping. I think he's earned it, but that's just me, Mr. Old-Fashioned.
It's disgusting. That's disgusting when China does it. It's disgusting when we do similar things in the United States. I don't know why you're demonetized on YouTube, but I suspect it could relate to speech that the U.S. government finds offensive, and it's bad no matter who does it.
Well, when senators like Hirono and Pelosi are out there saying Mr. Crowder needs to be banned, and they say he hasn't violated policy, so we'll just remove millions of dollars. However, nothing ever happens with those. This is a rare instance where something can happen, and I would actually argue that the reason this can get bipartisan support is because of the specificity. Because of the specificity that says for foreign adversaries, 20% ownership, if the data transfers occur, if they are headquartered or domiciled in these other countries, it is more specific than, for example, some of the left's legislation of hate speech or misinformation. So it's one of the rare instances. I don't believe in common ground based on a lie. So
if I may push back on that.
Somebody had said that that was a terrible straw man argument that I made about the video game thing. So I would like to ask Vivek that question. I'm like, so what happens if those kids aren't spending all day on social media and then they just go spend 15 or 20 hours playing video game? Are you going to want to get legislation to ban video games? Because at that point, doesn't that show that it's a parental problem and not a device problem or an app problem or a movie problem or a TV problem or a video game? If the parents aren't involved in the kids' lives, the kids are going to spend time doing dumb shit. So if you take the phone apps away, they're going to find other dumb shit to do. It's not like those kids are going to go, wow, I should probably do more homework now that I can't be on TikTok. I'll just spend more time doing homework. I'll spend more time educating myself. They're still just going to find other dumb shit to do. So maybe have better parenting.
For just a second.
Sure.
So this is an issue near and dear to my heart. I wrote about this in Woke Inc. It is a myth that Chinese ownership of the company is the only source of leverage that China has in order to decide how, say, data is or is not transferred to the behavior of companies. To the contrary, we have far greater evidence of even U.S. companies that do business in China handing over U.S. user data to the CCP than we have for TikTok itself. I'll give you a very specific example. Airbnb, a U.S. domiciled company, supposedly with principally U.S. shareholders. A few years ago, solid Wall Street Journal reporting on this. I talk about it in greater detail in my book, Woke Inc., my first one. Handing over U.S. user data of its customers. People have probably used Airbnb. The private messages sent between renters and hosts. Geolocational data. The private data of U.S. users handed over to the CCP, presumably as a condition for Airbnb being able to do business in China. So the fact that Airbnb isn't Chinese owned doesn't stop it from doing that. So my point about this bill being under-inclusive is if the problem is transferring U.S. user data to the CCP, transferring the ownership matters very little as long as there's another lever for actual control over those companies.
I agree.
And that's a major problem.
I do agree.
I go into greater detail of other examples.
I agree with
that.
that.
I think that the idea that we're just going to, now we change the ownership of this one company, massively expanded President Biden's authority to determine what platform does or doesn't count as being controlled by a foreign adversary to be able to shut it down, I think is a massive civil libertarian risk without really any juice to address the core concern of Chinese leverage over the United States, when in fact that leverage plays out through so many levers other than equity ownership, against the backdrop of the further irony that we have companies from Google to Airbnb that have shown greater leverage to the Chinese Communist Party than this Chinese-owned company.
If I may push back, I agree with you, by the way. Last time I was in an Airbnb, I found a camera in the two-way mirror. I knew it was the CCP, and I said, get a look, because I'm confident. You know, I'm right at the bell curve of average, but you know, it's okay. So my point here is, I understand that. However, those bills don't exist. TikTok does. There is not. I agree with you. This happens not only with Facebook and with YouTube in the terms that they want their content to be palatable to foreign countries, right? And so they throttle content, just like we saw with the NBA, for example, where they couldn't speak out. They couldn't even acknowledge Taiwan. That happens.
NBA, BlackRock, Disney, you go straight down the list. There's a lot of leverage for expanding into the Chinese market. So we agree on that.
We completely agree.
Spend a lot of time on that.
But this does.
Your point is this
there
bill
is a
does
starting,
one specific thing.
yes,
Why not just do this?
There's a starting point, right? You're not going to get a bill that will establish, hey, you guys can't allow this leverage even in catering to the content of foreign adversaries or transferring data.
Actually,
you can get a bill that says, okay.
I think there's a very clean bill that should be passed. This is one that I would vehemently support. I would, if I'm not in Congress right now, thank God, but I think I would be able to. If I were, I would push for this. Is a clean bill, irrespective of ownership, irrespective of domicile. It is fundamentally illegal for any U.S. holder of U.S. user data to transfer that data to the Chinese government or its affiliates. Period. Put an end to the practice. And that's how we do things in the United States of America. There's an undesired behavior. We go after that regardless of who's actually doing it. And that reveals what's really going on, because I do think we're falling for a kind of trick here. One of the people playing the trick is it's a combination of, I think, a Biden-led administrative state that wants to expand its executive authority, an administration that's already been using platforms like Facebook, pressuring them through the back door to go after its political opponents, to expand the range of who they're able to go after. But to bring this full circle, here's the dirty little secret in Washington, D.C. You know who's advocating for this bill? It's really the lobbyists hired by that very company, Facebook.
I guess, like, I'm always thinking about what is going on with this thing that they're wanting us to talk about or this other thing. And I hear a lot of like, well, the Chinese are doing X, Y, and Z, or the Russians are doing X, Y, or Z, and this is happening. Do you know who else is doing it? Our own fucking government is doing it. There are people in prison in this country right now for January 6th that did nothing wrong. There are our former president of the United States has been indicted 4 times. You have a fucking shit show going on in New York right now. An absolute fuck. Like, how the fuck? You're worried about China and you've got Letitia James in New York right now. Aren't they threatening to do something to the firefighters for booing her? You got nonsense going on in Georgia with Fannie Willis. And I just feel like, I'm not saying that China like is not it is something to be concerned about, but it just seems like there's so much trying to take our mind off of the real problem, and the real problems are happening right here. Judge Engoron, like, this man just fined President Trump $400 million. Like, said his property in Mar-a-Lago was worth what, like $18 million, when the property's clearly worth $1 billion. You find him for a victimless crime? And I just feel like there's a lot more going on that's a lot more pressing that can be more detrimental to our direct futures.
And so we are falling for a Facebook-led lobbying campaign to deflect attention from the reality of Facebook engaging in some of the same behaviors it's accusing TikTok of, getting in bed with the government actor, not quite the CCP here, but the deep state in the United States of America, doing the same thing, deflecting attention, effectively sidelining one competitor while actually being the product of one company's self-interested lobbying, as opposed to a full-fledged ban of the underlying behavior that actually would ensnare Facebook and Google and Airbnb, but which those companies have effectively lobbied their way out of being.
Well, that's the point, though, right? Nothing's going to happen there. You're not going to. Here is a bill where something can happen. In other words, how would bringing TikTok under a U.S. entity, right, hinder our ability to restrict data? It's a step. You're not going to get. This is the same reason that the Democratic. By the way, I'm agreeing with you. The radical left Democratic wing oppose this bill. The AOCs of the world. Why? Because they love being favored by the algorithms of Facebook and X.
I am shocked that Crowder backs the bill, and that makes me. And while I'm not the biggest fan of Steven Crowder, like, I know Steven Crowder knows his shit, and I'm actually shocked that he's like in support of this. So it makes me want to look a little further into it, because I do respect Steven Crowder's takes on things like that. But I am shocked that he is. You know, and this is a very divided topic for sure, but I just wanted to point that out.
Sorry, not X, but what used to be Twitter, right, at one point in time, YouTube, of course. But at this point, there's something before us that says, okay, here's a way to take a step. And by the way, President Trump supported it back then until he was against it. I'm sure that you've heard people
First
say.
of all, I would say one thing about that. Federal courts rescinded that ban, right? And I do think that federal courts, and I think the Supreme Court, will come down against this one as well for some of the same reasons. Came down against that because that was an executive order, but it will come down against this one in part because of the expansive abuses inherent in a law that's this vague and this broad, directed effectively at one company that vests this much authority in the chief executive and the president. And I don't think we do ourselves any favors by saying, oh, there's a bill only to see it rescinded, just like it happened last time around by the Supreme Court or by federal courts. I think that there's an opportunity where if you're just a consumer, and I take an average person home and say, okay, something's come up, why not just sign that? I'm interested in the process by which it comes up.
Well, just to be clear, they rescinded the bill.
Lobbyists.
I want to be clear. They rescinded the bill because they said it was outside the purview of the executive order. The bill did go through Congress. And I guess this does bring me to my question.
It vests the authority in the executive. One thing in this bill is it vests the sole authority in the U.S. president to make these determinations, which I think is a civil libertarian nightmare. If you think President Biden has unfairly, indirectly censored political opposition through the back door of tech companies, then it's probably a bad idea to give him even greater latitude to do it directly through the front door of this law.
I completely agree with the sentiment. I just have read that. I completely agree with the sentiment. And you know that this has been my cause du jour long before anyone else has even come along the trail. We were demonetized. I've been on YouTube since 2009. 2006. I've watched it grow. I agree with everything you've just said, except this bill is specific enough that it doesn't do that. And I think you're going to have a really hard time saying, well, this bill is too broad, and then get any kind of traction with the bill that would say, undue influence and the ability to have data transfer to a foreign entity of any kind. This is for specific adversaries listed, a specific type of ownership listed, either it being headquartered or domiciled, something that specific.
I would like to ask Crowder, like, what is to stop the government from labeling any website or any app a foreign adversary? What's to stop them? I mean, I'm just curious. Like that would be my concern. Like, what's to stop them from labeling any of them a foreign adversary? And then what's to stop them from infiltrating whatever app they want for whatever reason? Like that's what bothers me about this. Like I have been convinced of nothing by listening to the pro side of this.
If we say that can't happen,
mainly because I don't trust the government.
Something more broad has no chance in hell. That's a worry.
Yeah, so I respectfully, and there's a good dialogue. I just respectfully disagree with that because it's too specific in some ways and too broad in others. It's too broad in the authority that it gives the U.S. president to make a determination, and it's randomly specific in a way that's specifically designed to exclude the very U.S. companies that lobbied for it. That's where the specificity comes from. Ownership is not the only lever that matters when you have the likes of Google that claimed publicly, told all of us, that it was exiting China under its "Don't Be Evil" mantra, only to see years later that they had Project Dragonfly working with the CCP to create a censored search engine in China that was completely publicly not disclosed, a government contracting project with China until leaks actually revealed it. The instances with Airbnb, I could enumerate other instances. The specificity was paid for by the lobbyists to carve out U.S. companies from being excluded, the very U.S. companies that are threatened by TikTok's growing market share, not by TikTok's actual behavior. Versus the actual breadth and specificity is this. If a U.S. user has not expressly consented, not in some litany of general warranties that you just sign at the bottom through an adhesive agreement, but specific express consent to have their user data transferred to a government, either domestic or foreign, then a company cannot do it, period. I think it's that simple. And I think if we go to the hard nuts and bolts of the real issue lurking underneath all of this, which is the data privacy and who owns the data of individual users that we're handing over to all of these tech companies, from TikTok to Chinese-owned to American-owned but Chinese-influenced. That's what we need to do. And I think we should have broad bipartisan support. And if we don't, it smokes out the reason why. It's because U.S. companies are lobbying against doing the thing that actually needs to be done. And so I don't take that for given, right? Because there's a reasonable point of view to say, okay, we live in a broken system. There's all kinds of broken lobbying from these Silicon Valleys who control these congressmen anyway. And so if the Silicon Valley companies control them and we take that for granted.
Darkside Droid says the whole point of the TikTok ban is to go after Elon. Prior to the election, it's obvious.
then
That's
if this
what
is
I
the best
think.
we're going to get, let's at
Well,
least go for it.
Not that specifically, but I definitely think that that's a piece of the
I
puzzle.
don't take that for granted.
Right.
I think the best way to deal with that broken system is to name the problem. And that's why I'm naming exactly what's going on here. Anybody in Washington, D.C. knows the dirty little secret here is this is Facebook paid for multi-million-dollar lobbying campaign. The fake specificity is designed to exclude the very companies that have lobbied for it. And I say hell no to that system. There is a serious problem here of forced data transfers to the CCP. Deal with it. Deal with it directly. And you know what? If Airbnb or Google or anybody else is ensnared, so be it, because they should be. And the fact that they paid a bunch of lobbyists here more effectively than the other guys should not determine which laws we do or do not pass.
I agree with everything in spirit. I would have one disagree. Well, I would ask you to just laser in on one point here. You said because of TikTok's ownership, not their behavior. Do you actually believe that TikTok's behavior, their algorithms, and how they control content is not at least as egregious as Facebook?
I don't have as much evidence for that. The truth is we don't have as much transparency into TikTok, but the ultimate irony of this, Stephen, is that if you look at the most egregious behaviors in the last 10 years of state actors pressuring a tech company to censor or moderate content in a particular way, engage in persuasion, tilting the scales of elections, engaging in forced data transfers to governments without permission, the places where we have greatest evidence of that, hard evidence, is actually for our U.S. tech companies in Silicon Valley working hand in glove in bed with U.S. deep state
I completely agree.
That's where we have the
Not
plainest
just
evidence.
Yes.
And so it's beyond bizarre that where we have the plainest evidence, we turn the other way. But where we have good circumstantial evidence to be concerned, that's where we've created the lightning rod when it advantages the very companies for whom we have the most damning evidence. I just think we've got to be data-driven there.
No, I completely agree. But you look, come on, Vivek. You're also you're a brilliant man. You're a genius, far smarter than I. And you know that it will always be circumstantial evidence because we can't get to the evidence because of the lack of transparency of TikTok because of the Chinese ownership.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything. I'm saying we should do something that will have a significantly restrictive impact on TikTok, but it will also have a restrictive impact on anybody else who's trying to do the same thing. And let me just give you one more example here is many of the top apps in the App Store are Chinese, actually, in the Apple App Store. TikTok is the one that managed to capture the public imagination right now.
Right.
Even if you're looking at Chinese ownership, what are they going to do? They're going to effectively divest them through intermediary shell companies that have ownership that isn't technically Chinese at the top. It's gameable. And so the specificity, the so-called specificity of this that was designed to exclude U.S. companies that lobbied for it will also render this ineffective. Play this forward 2 years. This bill is going to have no impact other than forcing a divestment of one random company and a bunch of virtue signaling Republicans patting themselves on the back. 20 years later, when you have a regime that's then censoring political speech using...
I agree with Vivek. I really do. So far, I agree with
This is
Vivek.
the basis to do it, decrying how we ever got here, exactly what we say about Republicans passing the Patriot Act 20 years ago. And so I just think as a Republican Party, we need to grow up and get back to first principles, stop being pawns of the lobbyists that pay these politicians and use them as puppets, and say if there's a behavior that's problematic, and I identify 3 that are relevant to TikTok that are absolutely problematic, great. Ban the behavior. Have the courage to do it rather than have Facebook write up some sort of legislation with some fake specificity to exclude Mark Zuckerberg-founded Meta and then put it up and say this is what we have to sign. That's garbage, and I refuse to just play by the, be a price taker, if you will, of what that broken lobbyist-influenced system puts up. And instead go back to actually first principles to say that if we're at first principles, this isn't the bill we'd be passing. We'd be stopping forced data transfers to the Chinese. We'd be protecting young people from addiction on social media. And anytime a content platform is working with any state actor to engage in persuasion by up-regulating or down-regulating or censoring speech, that's a backdoor constitutional violation, and we deem it to be illegal. That's the course of action we should take, and I would be the first and strongest proponent for it. And so you have others. Then now you go to the AOCs of the world. They're not going to be for that.
No, of course
right?
not.
You go to many on the left. They're not going to be for that. That's what we need to be for.
And by the way, there won't be enough. There won't be enough
nonsense.
Republicans for that. I can't tell you how many conversations that we've had here with congressmen and senators who've talked about. Then we hear them quoting us and using our data in Senate hearings and doing nothing. Why? Because they all have podcasts and they all have giant Facebook pages and they want to play ball with them. So I agree with everything.
But let me
you
say
said.
a word about this. I mean, there's a reason why Trump, Elon Musk, Rand Paul, Thomas Massie, myself, I think Tucker I was reading, but it's a diverse array of libertarian and libertarian nationalist voices. I don't consider myself just a pure libertarian. I'm a libertarian nationalist. I do believe that the world stage is a jungle, and we have to play by the rules of the autocrats on the globe. We don't have to play by their rules, but we have to acknowledge that they're not playing by our rules when we protect ourselves as a country. So I'm not some blithe Friedmanite dreaming libertarian just believing that everybody plays by our fantasy rules. No.
Yeah.
We have serious issues with foreign adversaries that we actually need to.
Rodney, I agree. Says vote Trump in November. It's our only hope. But banning crap is not the way. I agree with that. Like, I just do.
But don't be duped into tricking ourselves to think that we did it when we didn't, while actually behaving more like the adversary in the process. That's where I land.
Well, one final question, and Vivek, you know that we love you, appreciate you, of course. One thing I will say too, because you've talked about, and I agree on the not only foreign adversary, but on the funding that comes from lobbyist groups. Yep. Everyone you just mentioned, including yourself, money from Jeff Yass, who owns a $33 billion stake in ByteDance. You're never going to get away from that question from your critics. Everyone you just named, it's a diverse coalition, except for one through
Everybody should ask the question, right? Yeah. So I think for a lot of politicians, that'd be a reasonable question. Just get to the truth of the matter, right? In my case, you got a guy who's funded a bunch of Republican candidates, as far as I know. You got, in my case, just look at the facts. People know what my net worth is. It's public. Look at how much I put into the campaign. It's public, too.
Yes.
Do you think that the positions that I've taken in the campaign, do you think that those have been ones that have earned me more donors or lost me more donors? I probably lost tens, if not maybe even $100 million plus donations over the course of the campaign because of positions I took on foreign policy and elsewhere. And I put $30 million on my own, and probably would have put a lot more on if I stayed in the race. So if everyone has to make their own judgment, but well, it's a lot of money I put in. I can't say what a lot of what someone might have consumed. But what I will say is people should make their own judgments, right? Think for yourself, think independently. And I just encourage you to do the same thing with respect to who's actually putting up this particular bill. And I do think that it's important not to see the equivalent of me in this debate would have been to say, not make any other points I made, but just say Facebook is funding the bill and that's it.
Right.
He kind of danced around that one, and he danced around it uncomfortably. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong, but he did dance around that really uncomfortably. All right. He just did.
Not offer any other counter argument on the merits.
And you didn't.
Okay. Well, like that would be like an ad hominem attack on Facebook.
Right.
But you can't use that as a substitute for engaging on the merits.
Right.
So if you want to say that, any of these politicians or myself or whatever else was supported by some guy, great, say it. But then don't use that as a substitute for engaging on the merits.
I agree.
Because the merits should be what govern.
I agree. And I do think very important merit would be that entire coalition putting together and pushing for a bill that would require the kind of legislation that you claim would be productive, that would relate to Facebook, YouTube, X, and TikTok. Yep. I haven't seen it yet. That's the issue. It doesn't exist, and it's never going to happen until we start with something specific. Because you know what? We've been getting battered out.
If I ran for president, and I've been talking about this in the campaign trail, if I ever were president, you can take it to the bank that I would push head and shoulders all the way down for actual robust legislation to deal with this threat. But I actually want to deal with the threat rather than pretending to, while creating a civil libertarian nightmare in the process.
And I hope that you would push head and shoulders, or at least Selson Blue, for me to be reinstated on TikTok.
I was.
All right. So yeah, I mean, my mind doesn't change on it. I just, that was a good discussion. That was a really good discussion from both of those guys. And, I just think that ultimately, man, this whole bill, I'm still on the side of I'm against it. I'm against it, and I'm against it because of the government. That's really what it comes down to. I am shocked at the amount of people that I am seeing out there that are for it. There are some people out there. What does Alex Jones think? I haven't heard Alex Jones take on this whole thing. Do we know what Alex Jones thinks about this? I would love to know his opinion on this. If anybody knows, let me know. I have not heard his take on this. I'm looking right now. I'm scrolling his timeline. He did tweet something out earlier that was pretty funny. I retweeted him. Right here. He tweeted this out earlier. Alex Jones tweets this. He's against it. Is he against it? I will eat your leftist ass. Alex Jones is against it. Yep, I figured. So there we go. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Shout out to the legend Alex Jones. He is the man. He is the man. JM Elliott 1986 says, whereas Chris Benoit been, Jeremy? Did you erase his existence from the 199 like WWE did following the misunderstanding he had with his family? Chris Benoit, he's been in the G&G chats. He's definitely not a fan of Ripa. So he keeps coming in the chat, like telling us how much he doesn't like Ripa. So I guess he doesn't hang out here as much because Jeremy supports Ripa. So yeah, I've seen a few people out there going, I've lost all faith in Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers because of his support of Ripa. He has no integrity. Jeremy's been not reviewing comic books for years. And now that he hasn't reviewed this comic book by Eric, his friend, I've lost all faith. It's like, okay. It's such a weird take. Like, Jeremy's never reviewed comic books, but now that he hasn't reviewed his friend's comic book, I've got no respect for him or the Friday Night Tights crew. Like, okay. It's so weird. Why haven't you reviewed Isom, Jeremy? Well, I've never done a comic book review ever. So that's kind of the reason. Let's see. Love Dog says, government wants to use this bill to ban all things conservative, and they want to push it through before the election. They are desperate, and the GOP falls right into the trap as usual. That is true. Let's see, GMU alum says, I'm a huge fan of amending Section 230 to prevent these social media companies as platforms from banning users for free speech, yet the money people start screeching about abolishing it completely. Yeah, Section 230 has been a big debate for a long time. Ministry of Wrongthink says, we can't let ourselves devolve into petty squabbles instead of working together. The best chance the left has is November. Is the right to devolve into infighting and kneecap our own movement. Yes, I agree. I've got the hiccups suddenly. Let's see. I agree completely. That's why I am so happy to be part of the kind of the crew I'm with like, Gary and Az and, my G&G crew and Ripa. Like, it's just a, Drinker, all these guys, man, and there's no bullshit with it. You know what I mean? And, I love this corner of the internet we got. Horror Amarada says, not that authoritarian isn't a thing. Something is either authoritarian or it isn't. Absolutely. Haas Bonaventure says, banning TikTok is a pro-Palestine content. They don't like how they can't control anti-Israel content. And that is what it's about. Israel owns this country. Filthy Gaijin says, we need voter ID and serious oversight in every polling center. The U.S. is no longer a high-trust society. Muffler Tape says, you can't be racist if there's only one race. German man, probably. Gerald Armstrong says, I think the bill is more about China than parents. Potentially. Jay Schwalbach for $30 says, did you know Charles Barkley has a news So I said news panel talk show on CNN right now, 7:30 PST. What the fuck? I think I jumped universes when the time change happened. Barkley News. Holy shit. Does he really? That's really bad if he does. That's really bad. Jack Burton says, banning TikTok is like banning guns. You don't actually solve the real problem and blame the tool, not the person. Agreed. Ed Dan says, you're right. Cuomo is Bohemian Grove material. East Coast Toasted Boy says, get a look laughing my ass off. AD Victorium says 2 words, Patriot Act. I rest my case. No ban. Agreed. Jake CB says, Alex Jones talked to Bannon about it today. For the Emperor says, I never respected you, but still watch. I appreciate that. You don't have to respect me at all to watch me. You can hate my guts. You are welcome to be here. Let's Talk Games says, why are congressmen leaving Congress right now? Let's Talk Games is funny. Go Max says, enough politics. Let's talk games and your sign. I love that one's never going away. I love that meme is never going away. Hayden Wayne says, here since day one of CobraCast IRL. CobraCast has come a long way in a year. Here's to another great one, and happy birthday, Geeks and Gamers Daily. Yeah, it's really cool. Today was the 1-year anniversary of Geeks and Gamers Daily. I didn't even know that, so I didn't even get a chance to grift off of it today, until later on in the show, we mentioned it. Trust me, if I would have remembered, I would have grifted off of it, but I just, I didn't even think about it. I feel like a failure as a grifter. A failure as a grifter. Broke Cracker 2 says, let's see. When are you doing to spread? What are you doing to spread democracy? How do you say this? Is this from Helldivers? Malavion Creek. I gotta play Helldivers, man. I've gotta play Helldivers. Everybody's screaming at me about Helldivers. I played Contra Operation Galuga today. Oh my god. Contra Operation Galuga is fucking awesome. All right. I love it so much. But I have not really played Helldivers. Hailstorm's screaming at me about it. Everybody's screaming at me about playing Helldivers, so I've got to play it. I got to play Helldivers. Everybody. So let's see. Basically, anytime a game blows up super quickly, I really try to worry. I'm like, okay, is this going to last? Is this going to be a one-off? Is this going to be a thing that lasts 2 weeks and everybody plays it and goes crazy and then everybody stops playing it? I just don't. I want to make sure, but Hailstorm was telling me the updates have been pretty crazy. They added mechs to it apparently. So, SBZ says Contra Galuga has women in it. It's woke. Darth Racer says the Chinese threatened the U.S. over a possible TikTok ban. The question is, how do we reduce influence in the what does that say? Within Google, Facebook, TikTok, and other social media platforms. I don't know how you I don't think that there's a problem with their influence. I just personally don't. I think there's a problem with the government and the left. I just think the reason Andrew Tate became popular is he became popular on social media through algorithms. He became popular. Do you think that Andrew Tate was something that Google and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok wanted to promote? He became popular because people liked what he had to say and he was entertaining. The reason that Ben Shapiro has his following is because he's manipulated the social media algorithms with his conservative views and all of that. The reason the Daily Wire is probably $1 billion company at this point, they've used that. I don't think that there's a real problem with social media at all. I think there's a problem with shutting down the fucking voting at 3 a.m. when it was clear what was about to happen. And I think that people need to be held responsible for that. That's really what it comes down to. I don't really think that there's this big overarching problem with social media. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm sitting here with 3,000 people watching me right now. That's a damn good number. That's a number I thought I would never hit in my life. And I have hundreds of thousands of, subscribers on multiple channels because, the platform's been good to me. It's been good to a lot of people. At the end of the day, is the platform the problem? Because Trump's the most popular person in this country, and it's not even close. When YouTube had to literally change their rules to protect Biden. That means that the platform actually couldn't. That means that their algorithm was doing nothing but making people hate Biden even more. So they had to step in and take the dislike button away to protect Joe Biden. So what does that tell us? It tells us that that's an executive decision, but not an algorithm decision. It's not a platform problem because clearly the platform, Biden's getting fucking annihilated on this platform. So, ultimately, I don't think people are getting a lot of bad, I think the information distribution on these platforms is about as fair as you could ask for within reason. I think that you know, I'm trying to be careful in how I say it, but I think that when the voting stops because a water pipe breaks and they put black curtains up so you can't see what they're doing with the votes, I think that's a bigger problem, because I feel like you're always going to have people on the left. You're always going to have people on the right. That's always going to happen. All right. So, but if you look at this country, I have no doubt in my mind that Donald Trump is by far and away, and it's not even close, the most popular person in this country, especially from a political standpoint. And that's just the truth. He just is. So it's just I don't know how I don't know how you get involved with like social media companies when it seems like by and large Donald Trump is more popular than he's ever been right now at this point in time. They're not doing anything to hurt Trump. They're not doing anything to hurt MAGA in terms of the narratives, but in terms of the behaviors that the government's involved in, that's where they're hurting it. Jay Schwalbach says, call King Charles. I had to check my PNews to make sure it was still there. I don't know the rules in this universe. I'm scared, Jeremy. Hold me. I'm not kidding. He has a show. God damn it, Schwalbach and your weird stuff. All right. B. Barrett says, did you see Matt Walsh finally covered Sweet Baby Inc. today? I didn't. I bet that was interesting, though. Jordan is a ninja says, Jeremy, how would you answer if chat wanted you to explain why you had a guest on that likes to stick dildos up his butthole? How would I answer? Well, so this is a Tim Pool question. So because of Jack Murphy. Well, I think that's a little more specific than anybody was truly demanding of Jack Murphy. I think the problem is that he never acknowledged it at all, which only made it worse. You know what I mean? That's really like, if he just would have acknowledged it, if he just would have acknowledged, hey, Jack Murphy, big controversy surrounding him. There's been a lot of discussion online. There's been a lot of things happening. Obviously, I know Jack Murphy, and, you know, he's been on this show for a long time, but we've thought it's best that he kind of go a separate way. He seems like he's got a lot of things that he needs to deal with, and, you know, I apologize to our audience for any of the controversy or the stuff that happened, but obviously I try not to get into that on my show, so we're just going to move forward. End of discussion. It's over. That's it. What's wrong with that? How is that difficult? That's not difficult at all. But he refused to do that. Instead, he's like, hey, chat, I'm going to shut down to members only so I can make more money. That's what he did. Let's see. Mod Eric says, Lemon is a fake and he is gay. He will get back his rump up to someone and get another gig. Lord of the Reese says, worst journalist of the year, Don Lemon. Worst journalist of the year, world champion, John Ward, world champion. Lord of the Reese says, who else remembers the time Don Lemon grabbed his balls and wiped his hand on a dude's face and got sued? Vault95 says, has PBD even endorsed Trump yet? If not, it's no surprise he hired Chris Cuomo. You know, PBD actually rides the fence a lot. He's better about it than Tim Pool, because I don't think he's endorsed Trump. But he's actually, that is true. That is very true. Like, Patrick Bet-David does ride the fence. He just does it in a smoother way than Tim Pool does. Do you guys agree with that? I think he does. Has he fully endorsed Trump? I have not heard him fully endorse Trump. Let's see. He does? Okay. PBD did endorse Trump at UFC 299. At 299? Let's see. It looks like he kind of did. Okay. Well, if he did, I was wrong about that. But I think generally speaking, he does like to ride the fence for sure. Which again, It is what it is, man. Do what you got to do. You know what I mean? CM says Jeremy needs to play the damn clip in response to Hannah. Ryan Guy says, I can't wait for you to play the new Fortnite season. This is probably the old messages. Also, Hail Melanie Mac, watching her going off on X the other day was a sight to behold. 199. High Tech Hot Dog. Hail to the Snake Pit. Hail to the hot dogs, apple pie, and Donald Trump. Jason J says, hail Jeremy, hail chat. Sean Green says, hail to the 199. Congrats to Christopher Nolan. Happy birthday. D-Day Fig. What's your sign again? Chikara says, Trump should have Tucker as vice president to word things. Not even in the top 5. Whites are the only ones discriminated against equals racism. Game over. East Coast Toasted Boy says, John Cena couldn't see himself that way. Ironic, we can't see him. And neither could he see himself. No wonder he wouldn't be a good movie lead. Adam says, what the fuck, didn't get a notification. Daisy Cobra Star. I'm a girl who is versatile and a gamer. WWE fan, grew up in the age of Barbie, but didn't enjoy the movie. Rocky movies are my fave and classics. 199. Aurora Uplink says, I would love if we got a new Star Wars game with base buildings, armies, get cool civil defense and invasion missions, and have a good new strategy game. Replicate Patriot with the gifted membership. Thank you, Lying Dogface. Pony Soldier with the gifted membership. And Money Wilson says PBD will learn the hard way. He wanted money from advertisers that will follow Cuomo. Cuomo and Don Lemon are rats trying to infect new big shows. I agree. Katie Maria, welcome to the Snake Pit. Thank you. Bennis says penis. JB24, hey, I sent you an email called Request for Advice. I know you're busy, but if you could take a look when you have time, it would be appreciated. Thanks. You got it, man. Aaron Adams says, I was wondering how you would feel if Biden won the election night, and would you be surprised? Trump 2024. I would be more than surprised. More than surprised. Let's see. Seiko's memory says, confirm Geeks and Gamers new sponsorship is Riot Games. You sold out. You got me. It's over. Let's see. Culper says, Clinton and Haiti script finished tonight. It's going to be a big one, bro. Lots of info. I'm a little scared. LOL G&G community has been so supportive. That's awesome, man. Looking forward to it. Michigan Expat says, most recent Chrono Cross HD re-release is woke censored. Hope you kept your PSX hard copy and downloaded it on PSN or PS3. I did. Eric K says, for Olivia Munn F cancer. Does Olivia Munn have cancer? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she does.
Did that just get announced?
They announced it at the nooner with Chris Gore today. So.
Oh wow, that's awful. I did not know that. Well,
I guess it's a really aggressive one, but they caught it early.
Damn, that's wild.
Yep.
Breast cancer. Damn, I hate to hear that, man. She's a legend. Nothing but love for her, man. Coop says that you skipped the best part. Georgia judge threw out a few things in the case. GOP new leadership cleaned house and raised $100K in the same day. Yeah, no, I heard about that earlier. Scully Balls says, hey, since Rooster Teeth is dead and you're thinking about buying Hack Screw Attack, can you see about buying Red versus Blue? I miss that show. I'm not thinking about buying Screw. That's Stuttering Craig. Yeah, I'll pass that along to him. Alan Fox says, caught the tail end of daily. Congrats on the anniversary. Anyway, let's talk games. Mo Delicious says, Biden is losing. Well, it's obvious the internet is racist. American Idiocracy says, you forgot your anniversary. Come on, man. Well, you know, for the daily. Darth Razor says, good points, Jeremy. Foreign governments, friend and foe, have attempted to influence our elections for decades. That will never change. Agreed. Vault 95 says Beanie Boy is only sour about TikTok because he kept getting banned by them, and everyone knows when Beanie Boy is inconvenienced, even the slight, he gets banned without explanation or fires co-host. Eric says PBD wants some of those Biden bucks for bringing Cuomo on. Next, he will endorse Biden and jab for Fredos. Vault 95 says half black elf tried to set a trap for African to fall in, then was made upset by the same African immigrant. And I think we are. And then Cade Karan for 2 says nothing. So thank you, I appreciate that. And I think we are all caught up. Look there. We are caught up, ladies and gentlemen. So we are not at 1,500 likes yet. Not at 1,500 likes yet. Oh, we're close, actually. 40 away. So not too bad. Kate Carran's just dropping $2 super chats. I like that. I like you. Just more super chats coming in. I'm okay with that. But yeah. So we are at the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Raider Lalo, was your member message read? It was. It was the very first thing I read, I think. Says, who do you have at WrestleMania, Cody or Roman? I said, Cody. I can't see any scenario where Roman Reigns leaves with the belt. I hope not, anyway. I hope not. We shall see. I'm Your Pepper says, can I get a membership? Well, we've had 28 new memberships tonight. 28 new memberships tonight. So I think we've had a really good show tonight. We covered a lot of ground tonight, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of different topics. We are well over 1,500 likes now, so it's time for that sexy back end. Are you guys ready? You guys ready? Do we got any guesses? Any guesses on how we are on chat revenue tonight? What do you think, guys? Chat revenue guess. Give me a guess. Give me a guess. Give me a guess. Give me a guess. Give it to me. Give it to me. 20,000. 680. A little lower. 2,000. We are nowhere near the thousands tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. Okay, I've saw a couple. I don't see an exact one yet. Roman EST89 was close. Let's see. Wolf is close. Believe Media Today is close. Jupiter Knight close. Devin is closer. Getting there. All right. Oh, Holy Fuck is the closest I've seen. So here we go. Boom. It is a $482 night with 28 new memberships. Let's go. So a few people got close. Ian says, you're gay. Thank you. Someone was like, when Don Lemon was on the screen, somebody was like, Jeremy might be gay, but he's not as gay as Don Lemon. I was like, all right. So now we're at a point where Don Lemon's so gay, they could, like, the chat couldn't even roast me. I was like, okay, that's pretty gay. Right there for sure. Jeremy should retire and become an auctioneer. I mean, sometimes I get in that. Okay, so let me just read. I'll read that. That's a decent, sexy back end. 482, gay for the stay. Damn quiet night. Josh Johnson. Yeah, it has been a quiet night, hasn't it? That's okay though. It happens. I mean, we had a good day. Like, dude. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me see if I can pull this up. Give me a minute. You know why it was a quiet night? Probably. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, give me a second. I'll show you why it was probably a quiet night. Let's see here. This is why. Look where Geeks and Gamers was yesterday. In the country, Geeks and Gamers was number 2 in the entire country yesterday. All right? So that's probably why it was a quiet night for us here, and that's okay. But yeah, G&G was number 2 in the United States of America. Not bad. All right. So good job. Shout out to the 199, number 2 in the U.S. Yeah, beat the doc. Hell, dude, look at the weeklies. Look at the weekly. Look where we're at weekly. We are number 6 in the country for the week. Look at that. We're number 6 in the country. D-Day Cobra is. That's insane, dude. Again, testament to all of you. It's amazing. I appreciate it. Don't know what I did to deserve it, but it's amazing. It really is. And then if you go to the month, look at that. Geeks and Gamers is number 10 in the country for the month, and D-Day Cobra is number 13 in the entire United States. That is stupid. All right? That is dumb. But that's where we are. So I really appreciate you guys for being so supportive of what we do, whether it's on D-Day Cobra, whether it's on Geeks and Gamers, whether it's on D-Day Cobra 199, whether it's on Kick, whether it's on Rumble. And of course, don't forget, if you have not Go over to geeksandgamers.com, our website, and make sure you have sign up for an account over there. We're doing a lot of work over there on geeksandgamers.com. So it's free. It's free to start an account over there. I look forward to seeing you guys over there. But I have an early day tomorrow, so no gaming tonight for me. But Battlefront drops tonight. I will be getting it on PC and PS5. And obviously, I know Helldivers. Everybody wants me to play Helldivers, so I'm going to look into Helldivers. I do have Helldivers. I just haven't played it yet with everybody, so I'm going to look into that. Contra, Operation Galuga is out, and it's awesome. So we got Geeks and Gamers Daily tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that tomorrow for Geeks and Gamers Daily. Other than that, I appreciate all of you guys. I love all of you guys. And thank you for being so supportive for everything we do, whether it be on Rumble, Kick, or YouTube. It doesn't matter. It only matters that you enjoy what we're doing. So you guys have a great night, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. right, guys. Appreciate all of you. I hope you have a great night. I'm about to drop a video over on Geeks and Gamers, so if you're interested in checking that out, please do. It'll be uploaded in the next 5 minutes. So have your notifications on for Geeks and Gamers. And you guys have a great night, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.